My first experiences and advice from the Philippines. I have been in the Philippines since 2015, three different trips, about 9 years total, and started reflecting on my first impressions and what has changed in those 9 years. Also, please share your information, what your experiences, your impressions were when you first came here. Um, some of you have made a trip or two here. Many of you have never been here before, who are watching these videos. So I'm kind of in the downtown area. You've got South Bus Terminal just down that direction. You've got a relatively new mall, City Mall, I think it's called, just up ahead of me. Right next to E Mall, Elizabeth Mall. So two malls, you can walk out of one right into another one. My first very important advice is the foreign currency you bring into the country to transfer into Philippine peso should be new. And if it's not new, it needs to be clean, not all wrinkled up, not written on, no tears, because a lot of these places will not accept. They will not. I was approached in the mall the other day by a couple of Koreans asking me if I could exchange Philippine pesos for $100 US dollar bill that they had that the money changers wouldn't take. Just had a little bit of writing on it, but yeah, it should be new, almost new, and you shouldn't have any issues. Anyway, I think over 60% of the people who view my channel are not subscribed. Consider that if you find these types of videos interesting. Also, thumbs up, thumbs down, comments always help as well. I've got over 1,400 videos up, cost of living, condos, real estate, travel videos, just a lot of videos. I try to add some information in each one. It is great that a lot of people understand English and speak some English here in the Philippines. It is their second official language. Many Filipinos speak the local dialect, the local language, and they speak Filipino, and then they speak English. So many of them actually know three languages. They've got a few different letters than we do. They pronounce certain letters differently than we do. They pronounce all letters, unlike in English, we have silent letters. So it can be confusing at times. Be aware of that, and you might have to ask a question, make a statement in a couple different ways, use different words to clarify what you're asking, what you want. Be aware of that. Arriving at the airport was relatively easy. Kind of followed the crowd, and there are people around to help you. Airport personnel direct you, and they had a line for Filipinos and the line for foreigners. And so got in that line, got stamped with my 30-day free visa in my passport. You need to have at least 6 months available on your passport before it expires, or that might become an issue. In fact, the airline might not even let you fly. You also need to fill out at this time, an e-travel form online within 72 hours of flying. If you haven't done that, they'll direct you to a computer and help you do that online here. We used to fill out paper forms, I think three different forms: customs forms, a health form, declaration form, where are you staying, who's your contact information, that type of thing. They'd hand that to you within the airplane, I think. Some things have changed over the years, so please let us know what your latest current experiences were. But I got through customs, and my next step was to exchange some US dollars for a $100 bill for some Philippine pesos. And I found a money exchange in the airport. Now there's some in the airport, and there's some right outside the airport, out in the like waiting areas. And I got a fair exchange rate. I thought at the time it was 48.5. I think I got just under 48 pesos to the US dollar. Gave me all 1,000 peso bills, and I asked him, can I get here, I give you back 1,000. Can you give me smaller money? Because the taxis, a lot of people are not going to have change for that 1,000 peso, which is about 20 US dollars. And taxi ride into the city, depending on where you're going, might be 250, 350, 450, 350 pesos. So if you hand him 1,000, he's going to say, "Well, sir, I don't have change for that." So get change at the airport. You may also be able to buy a SIM at the airport. They used to give them away free, a SIM card for your cell phone. If you have an unlocked phone, which I did, I had a unlocked phone from the USA that had 2 SIM slots, so I could have a USA SIM in one slot and a Filipino SIM in another, or two different carriers for Filipino SIMs, which I ended up doing. I had for a couple months I had a T-Mobile SIM in there, and I bought, I think for $30 a month, I bought their international plan that gave me data and calling and texting back to the US as well. I think their international fee is up to 50 or something like that now. So consider that. Get an international plan. You don't want to be internationally roaming, because your rate will go up, your charges will go up very rapidly. New condominium tower, one of, I think, 2 or 3 towers going up on that site, ARC, A-R-C. I've done a video in there, done dozens and dozens of videos of condominiums and housing developments. If you want to see what they look like, what they cost, check out my condo playlist. Now, Cebu City is a nice place to start your trip, even if you're going to travel around the Philippines. It's centrally located in the central Visayas, pretty much in the center of the Philippine Islands. It's got an international airport that has more connecting flights and direct flights to other nations and other islands in the Philippines, domestic flights, than any other airport here, I believe, other than Manila. Any other airports, Iloilo, Bacolod, Baguio, if you're flying anywhere, you're quite likely to have to go through Manila, even to go to another Philippine city. That can change all the time. So, transportation out of the airport. I'm talking about airports. I recently found out Manila is a pretty big cruise ship area. So I'm not going to discuss transportation getting into the shipping ports. But anyway, each airport, Manila, the big Manila airport up in Manila, NAIA, Angeles is real popular. More and more people are flying into Angeles. Cebu City is probably one of the better airports. They've got 2 terminals, domestic and international, but you can find different types of transportation outside. There is 1 or more bus companies. My bus is a company right outside of the domestic terminal, and they stop at the international terminal in Cebu City as well. I'm not sure if Manila Airport has bus service or not, but there are taxis. There are white taxis, there are yellow taxis. Yellow taxis are airport taxis, dedicated. They usually take you where you want to go and return back to the airport, get in line. They're generally about twice as much, but taxis are very inexpensive here. I think it cost me about 350 pesos the couple times I went to the airport and back. $6-7 for a 30-minute ride. Anyway, white taxis are the cheapest. Yellow taxis are the next. You'll have a lot of times the airports, there'll be larger vans or minivans or larger vans. If you have a lot of people, a lot of luggage, that will give you a flat rate going someplace. And you can call some of the higher end hotels might have a shuttle bus for you too. So contact them if you're staying there, and also have information on what various transportation services will cost you. Of course, you have the jeepneys like you see right next to us walking here. Anyway, back to my experience riding in on the taxi. There were a couple stop signs, stoplights we stopped at. kids coming out, knocking on the window, asking for money. That was a unique experience. The poverty here is right out there in your face. So it is what it is. You would like to help the whole world and save the whole world, but most of us, all of us, have somewhat limited resources to do that type of thing. I've thought it. Yeah, it's entered my mind a few times about starting a charity, and it's come back into my mind recently. I'll have to think about that. That's a lot of work, but there's a lot of needs. I've got the energy to do it, but no more kittens. No more kittens. They're trying to make more kittens. Anyway, got to my hotel and got in there, and I had reserved it with a credit card. Went in and got my key, and they said, "Sir, you need to put down 1,000 peso deposit." I said, "Well, just put it on my credit card. Just add it to my bill." "We can't do that. We need 1,000 peso in cash." And I've had that happen a number of places, resorts, and has that happened to you? Is that still happening out there? Do most of the hotels and resorts ask for a cash deposit in case you do any damages? So I got in relatively early, and my room wasn't quite ready, although they let me move in quite a bit earlier than check-in time, and I went up to the rooftop restaurant, had breakfast, and of course, something that I've never had in the U.S. was rice. I've never had it with breakfast, put it that way. I've had Chinese food with rice before in the U.S., but yeah, the egg, my breakfast came with, the room included a free breakfast, so you get one egg. How do you want your egg done? And they don't know a lot of the terms. Over easy, they know scrambled and sunny side up basically, but they don't know a lot of places. My experience in several restaurants early on, what is over easy? I explained it to them. Just turn it once quick, and then take it off the out of the skillet. And I got scrambled eggs, which was fine, but wasn't what I ordered. More buses, a lot of buses, and here again, quite a few of them going south without air conditioning. There is a South Bus Terminal down here by the malls I first showed you, and South Bus Terminal, there are quite a few Ceres, C-E-R-E-S, buses there that are air conditioned, so you do have those choices. But anyway, yeah, you don't have to go to the South Bus Terminal. They've got some security there and that type of thing, but the fact is, anybody can just wave the bus down out here on the street and get a ride all the way down to the south end or north end, whichever direction. You just stand out on the road and see a bus, you wave it down. If they've got time, they're not full, they will stop and pick you up. So the food was interesting. I adapted to I was afraid coming out of the desert, southwest USA, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona area, and Las Vegas, Nevada, and Corona, California, which is kind of a deserty type area. Well, not really, but anyway, with the low humidity, I thought I would have a hard time adapting to the humidity here. And I grew up in the Midwest USA, Minnesota, and it can get pretty humid up there in the summertime. But anyway, I actually adapted. It took me about 6 months to adapt to the different type of heat and humidity here, I would say. 5-6 months, and I was real comfortable. There are days, just like any place in the world, if they're hot and humid and no wind, that can be a bit overbearing. And I'm sure y'all know what I mean. But pretty much it's not as hot and humid here as it is much of the year as it is in many places in the world, even in like southeast USA, for instance. Getting used to the peso and doing the conversion in my head. Uh, was a little tricky at first. A lot of food stands along the way. Uh, to start thinking in pesos and what does that convert to, all that type of thing. I did a lot of walking right away. There's a Cebu Medical Center that's very, very, very delayed, and there have been promises to finish it. I think they've got a couple floors open there now. It's several years delayed, I think. Anyway, walking, the smells in the street, the trash, the pollution. The air pollution really isn't that bad, except for the dust. If you're, they had these really polluting jeepneys, and they've gotten rid of a lot of the worst polluting jeepneys. But the dust, I thought when it rained it wash away a lot of that dust, but no, it dries out, and you got new dust there. So the dust when the traffic goes by, the trash on the streets, and people just throwing trash, and there's part of the infrastructure issue. There just aren't very many trash receptacles. The sidewalks are in many places of the city are really an obstacle course. Many people walk in the street because of that. The sidewalks are not kept up very well. You can trip over things. They're iron. Maybe there was an iron post where there was a sign that it's cut off. They're still sticking up an inch or two. There are holes in the cement going down into the sewage drainage, and I've stepped in one of those at night when I wasn't carrying a flashlight. There are certain areas that those asking for money, the beggars, the homeless, other people asking for money are out there. If you're in a taxi, they'll be out there at a lot of the signal lights where the traffic stops. They'll come and knock on the window asking for money. People sleeping on the street in certain areas. Quickly back to transportation before this video finishes. We have Grab. There was Uber here, I think, when I first came here, but they got bought out, kicked out of the country or something like that. We have Uber. No, we don't have Uber. We have Grab. We've got a couple of other. We've got motorcycle taxis, Ancas and Move It, and 2 or 3 other ones. And a couple of them are getting into the automobile rental, just like Grab too. So you can get the Grab app or Move It app, and you can book a taxi, a car to take you around and find out what the rate is right offhand. You can do that in Manila as well. A couple other cities as well, I think they're moving into. So those are options. Things are changing. The cell phone system, getting used to the SIMs and how to prepay your load on your phone to use talk and text and data. That was a challenge. It wasn't that difficult. I would just take it into a mall and have somebody, here, put some load on my phone. I would have them do it until I just decided to do it myself. And not that difficult. I've done video about that. Things have changed, better infrastructure, better internet. Reliable in a lot of parts of the Philippines. Things will continue to get better. This is part of the BRT, Bus Rapid Transit System. Thanks for watching. See you next time.